Welcome to Study with the Best, the magazine show that's all about CUNY. I'm Tina Beth Pina. On today's show, we head outdoors for summery stories. We've got poetry in the park, butterflies in the garden, graffiti in the court, and so much more. But first, what's the annual event that showcases street art as a means of beautifying the neighborhood and as a vehicle for positive social change? It's the Welling Court Mural Project in Queens.
Art in public space is a powerful thing. It can bring business into a neighborhood. And I think this neighborhood in particular certainly does benefit from that. The small shops and businesses around here, the places to eat, the hardware stores, all benefit from this event.
The Welling Court Mural Project started in 2010. And over those years, we've grown over 300%. We started with a little over 40 walls, and now we have over 150 spots. The key is having permission from property owners, and so each year we've made positive gains because each year people come around to that notion that it's a good thing to have. It's multiple city blocks, and to walk around the entire project, you could easily spend 2-3 hours if you wanted to look at the work and check it out. So here we have Lady Pink, and Lady Pink is pretty much most famous female graffiti writer in the world, first generation graffiti writer, a woman back when it was all men out doing that. So, you know, supremely talented, tough as nails, quick and witty, all wrapped up into one.
I think for a marginalized kind of community, and that goes for the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, we don't get a lot of the funding for the arts. So for an event like this to come, an artist generously donating their work to a community that would otherwise never see any fine art or culture. All they see are billboards and advertising. So it means a whole lot. It means an incredible amount of care and dedication by all these artists, and it's given as a gift to them. The piece that I've chosen to paint I call the Butterfly Queen, and it's based loosely on Mexican style of, you know, Dia de Muerte, the Day of the Dead, and the skulls with the flowers. But this one has got butterfly wings, and the design inside the wings has got some contemporary images in it.
I've been drawing these characters since I'm 14 years old. And it was at that same time that I found my graffiti tag, Seslow, which is a portion of my last name, and started drawing these characters along with it. This is actually the first time that these characters are appearing here at Welling Court. The last 5 years I've done a bunch of other things, trying to kind of do things that people wouldn't necessarily know my style for right away, but these characters kind of give it away in relationship to a lot of the other work that I do that these characters appear in, so it's fun to bring them to life on a nice large scale.
When the artists are out painting, people frequently stop and just talk about what a positive impact it's made in their environment. So again, it's not like we don't have to wonder or theorize. It's like there's an overwhelming outpouring of, you know, words and thanks and appreciation for the art. The thing to me about this that's the most important is art and creativity as a vehicle for increasing the quality of human interaction and ultimately increasing the quality of life for people on the planet. I encourage people to take active roles in making wherever they live a more community-oriented and cooperative environment.
The monarch butterfly population is dwindling, but that's not stopping one Queens College teacher from educating people about this beautiful insect.
Monarch butterflies are unique among insect species in the fact that they migrate annually from a small area in Mexico. They migrate north and they actually make it all the way to Canada by the end of the summer. At that point they turn around and fly south back to Mexico. The threat is that as they make their way across the country, much of the food source that they need to reproduce, where they lay their eggs, what the larvae eat, is milkweed. They only eat milkweed. Broad sections of the country right now have eliminated milkweed. It used to be, would grow on the edges of farms, you would find it on city streets, you would find it in people's gardens. Well, we've come so far with pesticides and herbicides nowadays that we've wiped out these weeds. For the butterflies, coming across the middle of the United States is like a great desert. The big reproductive burst that they need as they move across the country isn't there anymore. And these butterflies have this tremendous desert as they're moving north to lay their eggs and raise their young. And then on their way south, when they're flying south, they need nectar. In our gardens, we plant plants now that don't attract insects, so they're not nectar producing. We got rid of all the native plants. So we're working with groups to get them to understand the beauty and the functionality of native plants and get them to put those back in the gardens, and with a particular emphasis on milkweed. Here at the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens today, we're doing a teacher professional development program. We have kindergarten and second and third grade teachers, and we're teaching them about biology of monarch butterflies. And we're also showing them how to raise them in the classroom and work with them with children, and eventually, hopefully, get the students to become more aware of these butterflies and how they can plant gardens in their own yard that will support them. We want teachers to go out and teach about monarch butterflies in their classrooms. I expect that several of them will be so excited about this that they will start their own butterfly gardens in their own homes, and that the majority of them will start butterfly gardens with their classes. They're going to get their milkweed plants today. We're actually potting them up, and they can bring them home, grow them up a little bit. And once they're a little bit bigger, they'll be able to order the caterpillars. They'll be shipped caterpillars, and they can raise them up. Those are the best ambassadors. Once you have raised a couple of caterpillars on your own and watch them come out as adult butterflies, you're hooked. You're as much of an enthusiast as I am.
This is a tuberosa butterfly weed. Butterflies love this. This is an incarnata, and butterflies and the caterpillars love this. And the milkweed, the caterpillars really love. These are going in the school. These are going to be going at PS 15. Well, right now we're doing the rainforest, and we're talking about native species. So, thinking that this would be kind of a great thing, for them to connect with. We're doing some ecology on butterflies, and we're doing conservation and just trying to help the monarch butterfly. Its population is dwindling, and we're hoping to get it back. I just love anything with nature, and I'm hoping, to do a lot of conservation for different things, and this is just such an easy one that kids can do, and they love the butterflies, so yeah, and who doesn't love butterflies?
Queens College has a long history of both environmental sciences, and I actually work out of the School of Earth and Environmental Sciences, and we also have a very strong education program. We're constantly trying to find ways to translate the higher science of environmental science and what we're learning with in the School of Earth and Environmental Sciences, translating that to elementary school curriculum, and this is a wonderful bridge to do that. What we have here is a common milkweed plant with a couple of monarch caterpillars on it. They lay their eggs on here, the babies start growing, and they start just basically eating. So when they're a larva, all they do is eat. They don't know if they're boys or girls, they don't worry about anything else, all they do is eat and get fat. We don't know all the changes that go on there. How does it dissolve the caterpillar and become a new butterfly? What are the changes? What are the chemical changes? What are the biological changes necessary to make that happen? And do it without the animal dying as its whole insides turn to mush and rearrange themselves. It's an amazing thing. That's the sense of wonder. The monarch butterflies is one that anybody can help with. It's a really national problem. Unlike so many environmental issues and crises we face that are just too big for an individual, this is something where individual people can actually go out tomorrow and start making an improvement, and it's a big difference.
What do several CUNY colleges have in common? Aspira, the organization that inspires Latino students to take their education and aspire to get even higher.
Aspira to me is a family.
They show us different life skills.
To me, Aspira is a place where I can come and I can have fun and I can talk to my friends, but at the same time, I can make sure I get my homework done so that my grades are good.
Aspira is the premier Latino youth development organization in the country. We've been around 54 years, founded in 1961 by Dr. Antonia Pantojas and a group of Puerto Rican educators. And at that time, they founded the organization because of lack of services for Puerto Rican young people and their families. And we've metamorphosized in the last 54 years. And we've had impacted the Latino community, but not only the Latino community. That's really important. We serve about 65% Latino and about 30% African American, and then we have 5% other ethnicities. So we're a diverse and inclusive organization, and we know the work we do impacts young people's lives. And our 4 pillars are college access, leadership development, service learning, and parent empowerment. And that's really the foundation of all the work that we do in all of our programs.
I actually now work for Aspira, so actually I'm proud of myself that I'm able to still work in the business that I used to actually go to after school with. It's the best program. We provide all types of services.
Sometimes we may not have all the help that we need in our homes, so Aspira serves as a second home to a lot of our students.
I can really relate to the young people, and I was part of Aspira and Kennedy. I'm an aspirante, so I'm a product of Aspira. So that's one of the reasons I came back to Aspira. I've been with Aspira 14 years. I began as a program director. Junior high school, I became the director in that part of the Bronx, so that was exciting. And then I actually went to the Department of Education for a few years, and I came back as a chief program officer. And now to be the CEO, executive director, I'm like, wow, this is a whole different level.
A Lehman College graduate, Gonzalez credits the importance of the City University of New York when it comes to aspirantes.
CUNY's been a great supporter of Aspira. They host our city youth conference. They've provided scholarship money for young people who go on to CUNY. About 70 to 75% of aspirantes go to a CUNY college once they graduate. So it's been just a great support system.
The highly successful Aspira program has grown to become a national movement with several branches across the U.S. that have helped over 600,000 students achieve success in and outside of the classroom.
So many young people would be so lost if it wasn't for organizations like Aspira. It was through Aspira that gave me the motivation of saying, yeah, you know what? I want to finish high school and I'm going to go to college and I'm going to give back to my community.
Once an aspirante, always an aspirante.
When you see young people come back and share their stories of success and wherever it comes to, it's humbling. It's a humbling experience, and it's an orgullo that you know you're impacting society. Talent is spread out equally throughout the world. Opportunities aren't. And education is about opportunities, giving young people opportunities to really realize their dreams, and that's what we're about.
Sarah Cameron Sunde is a Manhattan-based artist who can be found in the world's largest oceans or behind the lens of a small video camera.
I'd been playing with this thing with a sheet the other day in some different light that looked really good. I still need to find what the moment of dynamic change is, so I thought I would bring a clock. I feel like I'm kind of just exploring right now and seeing what is interesting with these objects with the camera rather than working with a specific idea. I think the videos are an attempt for me to work with, to shape, to sculpt an impulse that comes to me in a moment, and to work with really everyday materials, mundane materials, and create a moment of dynamic change. That's been a big focus of mine for the last 2 years while I've been at City College in the Digital and Interdisciplinary Art Practice program. The videos are really sort of about just, no, Sarah, just make something every day. Just get in the room and make something. I sort of need the constraints of working with a prompt in order to just spark something and to just say, I'm gonna work with that guy's shirt or the colors on his shirt. "36.5, A Durational Performance with the Sea" is a series of works that I began in August of 2013. I'm in Maine at this artist residency, and I was blown away by the tidal shift. It was 10.5 feet. I had really never lived in an environment where the tide changed so drastically and you could see it so completely. It would be a mud flat at low tide, and then the water would rise and it would be this big, beautiful blue bay of water. And it struck me that this was actually a metaphor for our environment changing. I watched a rock get swallowed whole by the water over the course of 20 minutes or so, and I just imagined a person standing out there in the water and the water rising very, very slowly and then going back down again. I'm a director, so my first impulse was, who can I get to do this for me? How can I create this image? And I realized no one was actually going to do that for me, and if I wanted to make this work, I had to do it myself. 3 days later, there I stood in the Maine water for, that one was 12 hours and 48 minutes. I felt more alive than I had in a long time, and I felt like this power of living through something, of actually like struggling through something, this idea of actually putting my body to the test in a way that was so challenging, and the endurance was really an important thing for me to go through. I got out of that water and I just knew that it was going to be a series. Wherever I am, I look to how I can work with the environment to create space for people to sit with the performance and take it in and be quiet with it. This last one was really exciting because a lot of local people stopped and they were like, is this art? What is this? And then they sort of would get engaged in watching it, and my understanding was that lots of these sort of intense conversations about what is art were had and what is our relationship to the water on the edge of the shore, and to me that is incredibly valuable. The plan is to do different iterations on all continents and then come home to New York City in 2020 and do it here. The goal is that the project will have grown organically into something that is much bigger than I can anticipate and will have citywide participation. I'm in a new MFA program called Digital and Interdisciplinary Art Practice at City College. It's a really amazing program. Hayo Madarager, who is part of E-Team, he's running the program. It's been a wonderful environment to be in, and we have this amazing studio space. I feel very lucky to be sort of early in the formation of the program. I went back to school because I wanted to find my individual practice. I realized that I've been working in collaboration all of my life, which I love. I love collaboration. I will always be a collaborative artist. But I also wanted to be able to work on my own when my collaborators weren't available and figure out what that could be. I really wanted to be able to contextualize my work in the visual arts realm. The discipline, the practice is so important, and I feel like for me, I will marinate on something for so long, and then when the idea hits, I know that's what I have to do. It doesn't always happen like that, so I'm like, you know, when it happens, I know I have to take action.
Up next, CUNY poets J.P. Howard and Keisha-Gaye Anderson take us inside the Women Writers in Bloom Poetry Salon and explain what makes it so special.
Tonight we're pleased to welcome a program of poetry from Women Writers in Bloom Poetry Salon.
Women Writers in Bloom Poetry Salon is something that happens every month, and there's a long history during the Harlem Renaissance of poetry salons or writer salons happening, moving from home to home.
Occasionally I have hosted a salon at my home, and I love that. I have young children, and you know, I love that they can see art happening.
Sometimes if I'm going through a period where it's hard to write, you know, as writers sometimes do, I know that each month I'm going to have this, you know, this forum to at least be able to produce a draft of something new.
You're there in a nurturing environment to work on your craft. It just engages all of your senses. It's different than just looking at a screen.
I graduated from City College with my MFA in 2009, but I missed having a regular workshop community of poets or writers to meet with. And I said, well, since I don't have it, maybe I can create it on my own. And so that was really kind of the impetus to be able to kind of bring together, especially women, but it's open to everyone, and it's certainly grown over the years. This is Praise Poem for the Journey. Praise the therapist who told me 20 years ago, you are not your mother, you do not have to be your mother. Praise the years I spent wanting children, yet afraid to repeat her mistakes. Poetry is probably right now, probably always will be one of my favorite forms. It kind of forces me or challenges me to put a big topic or a big issue in a small space, so that I really have to use the words that I need to use, really have to pare it down. Praise my sons, praise the first male children born after 3 successive generations of women. My book, Say Mira, my mother's on the cover, and she was a well-known fashion model in Harlem in the 1940s and 1950s before I was born. Sort of dealing with the ups and downs of growing up with a diva as a mother. She was a single mom, I was an only child. We grew up in Sugar Hill, Harlem. And so all those things sort of, you know, come out a little bit in the book. She was in her early 90s, but when she saw the cover, she was like, damn, I look good. I have 2 sons, African-American sons. One is now 18, my youngest one is 11. And there's so much, unfortunately, harm coming to African-American youth in this country. I see these beautiful beams of light when I see my sons, but I know that sometimes, you know, when society sees them, they may see something different and react differently. If you say their names out loud, Emmett, Trayvon, Sean, Amadou, you will burst into flames. How much repetition can we take, y'all, before we grow tired of these stanzas? My teenage son looks more man than child. I wonder, what storm will he ignite? This poem has no date, no place to rest its final line, as long as justice flickers in the distance. What is it about a black boy's face that makes the world around him explode?
People don't notice everyday things, but if you look at it through the lens of poetry, you might get them to examine their actions and maybe say, hey, well, maybe we shouldn't do that. If you can explore another person's pain or their joy, it's really talking about seeing your reflection in others and thinking about what we're doing.
Well, you wanted to look into the dark, didn't you? So don't curse these eyes, we gave them to you, and sent you to straighten the bends in these steel tracks that link all of our names, rusted under salt water, buried beneath bundles of cane. Sing songs into candle flame for these bones of mine that now reach through you. Stand you into 6 feet of woman. Gathering the Waters really was not visualized as a compilation at first. I was just writing. And the idea behind the title, it really is sort of accessing the wisdom of your ancestors, of your culture, and bringing all that good stuff together. And if you think of water as cleansing, you know, and sort of freeing us of what we don't need. In the belly of a ship named for supposed nobility, I came this way. From low-caste Bombay to Chinese-built railway, I came this way. From Irish town here pours the one back there, I came this way. I became that jigsaw piece floating on the archipelago. Two enmeshed to go beyond the gravity of my being. I am the Caribbean, a sweltering pool of disjointed life, each day remaking, reshaping itself into an electric rhythm, skipping from Bata to Tassa to Nyabingi, weaving through me, making me that Kumina sound, that pan melody. This is how you move people. People are moved from the inside out. You cannot enforce things on people. It has never worked, you know? Force doesn't really do it. The person has to want to do things, you know? Poetry can do that because it can bring you into that emotional reality very quickly, very easily, you know, and you feel it right here. What a way is she bright though, eh? That fat gal, that fire woman. It's who she thinks she is. Market hips rocking like a rum shop before daylight, rolling like a river, swelling to meet sea after the devil and him wife did a fight, flashing tears from the clouds, streaking the faces of hibiscus, pulling colors through the curtain of the sky. She is still here, from Clarendon to Brooklyn. Call her Iris, call her Lilith, call her Isis, call her Kali, call her Savvy, but don't call her out her name. She's got no use for girdles and bleaching cream. Coconut milk never killed anybody. Candles and white rum have their place. Everything in our darkness must come to light. She's got stamina for the marathon of creation, sucks her teeth at your corsets for jubilation, blinders wrapped in greenbacks, promises called pensions, and she will wait as long as it takes for her garden to grow, for her children to know. Good. Thank you so much.
That's our show for today. For more information on any of our stories, log on to our website at CUNY.TV or check out our Study with the Best Facebook page. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.